Welcome! Today, we're going to unpack a forecast for 2026 that's all about the top players in Power BI consulting. So if your business is ready to finally turn all that data you've collected into real, decisive action, then you are definitely in the right place.
So let's just start with a really important question for anyone leading a business today. I want you to think ahead to 2026. Is your company actually making decisions with its data, or are you just looking at it? You know, that difference is at the very heart of a huge challenge that so many are facing.
And that challenge is what we're going to call the data-driven dilemma.
Okay, so here's the situation. Most companies are collecting just mind-boggling amounts of data. We're talking sales figures, customer behavior, all those operational metrics. It's a total flood. But, and this is the key, just having data isn't the same as understanding it. The real struggle, that starvation part, is turning that giant ocean of raw numbers into clear, simple insights you can actually use to make a smart move.
So how do we fix that? How do we bridge that gap? Well, it all comes down to unlocking your data's true potential.
Now, one of the biggest tools in the toolbox for businesses today is, of course, Microsoft Power BI. At its core, it's this super powerful service that lets you create interactive dashboards and reports. The whole idea is to put the power of business intelligence, or BI, into the hands of everyone in the company, not just the tech gurus.
And here's where it gets interesting. Power BI is an amazing tool, no doubt about it. But like any really advanced piece of equipment, getting the most out of it, well, that often takes an expert. To really make that investment pay off and to avoid all the common pitfalls, a lot of businesses turn to specialized consulting services.
Which brings us right to the main event of this explainer, a forecast from late 2025 that lays out the top 10 Power BI consulting services in the U.S. for 2026.
So where's this list from? It's from an article by a company called BayForward. And their whole argument is that since making decisions with data is no longer optional, it's a must-have, then having expert partners to help you do that has become absolutely essential.
All right, before we dive into the rankings, there's a really crucial piece of context here. The company that published this list, BayForward, well, they rank themselves as number one. We're just presenting the information exactly as it was published, so it's definitely something to keep in the back of your mind as we go through their list.
So, according to their own article, BayForward claims that top spot based on a few things: their skill in building custom dashboards, embedding analytics into other software, and their deep expertise in advanced data modeling and security. They also make a point to mention their work with Microsoft Fabric, which is a newer all-in-one data platform.
Now, what's really interesting is how this list breaks down the different types of firms. First up, you've got the huge global powerhouses, Avanade, Accenture, and Capgemini. The article calls them the enterprise integrators. These are the folks you call if you're a Fortune 500 company or a massive organization where Power BI is just one piece of a much larger digital strategy. You're trading niche expertise for massive scale and integration.
Then you've got a different flavor, what the source calls modern consultants, like Slalom and Centric Consulting. Their game isn't so much about the massive infrastructure, but more about the user experience and the business results. They're focused on making sure the dashboards are actually easy to use and helpful for mid-market and large companies. It's a different approach, right? It's all about being nimble and making sure everything aligns with specific business goals.
And just to give you a sense of the kind of scale we're talking about with some of these companies, take a look at the number 6 firm on the list, Vidicorp. The article points out they've worked with over 600 clients, including some huge names like Google and Heineken. That number alone tells you they have a ton of experience across all sorts of different projects. So up to this point, we've seen consultants that solve broad business problems. But sometimes the problem is super technical, and that takes a whole other level of skill. To get that, we need to talk about DAX. If you've ever written a really complicated formula in Excel, think of DAX as that on steroids. It's the powerful formula language that runs behind the scenes in Power BI to do all the heavy lifting and build complex data models.
And you really need to understand DAX to appreciate this last group, the deep specialists. The article points to P3 Adaptive and SQL BI as the go-to experts for those really tough technical challenges. These guys are practically legends in the Power BI community, famous for being absolute masters of the DAX language. This is who you call when your problem isn't just what to show on a chart, but how on earth to calculate it in the first place.
Okay, so we've gone through the list, but now it's time to shift gears from who is on the list to how you should actually choose a partner. This list is a great starting point, but the article also gives us a really useful way to think about making the right decision for you.
The article boils it down to 4 key benefits that the right partner should deliver. And honestly,
these are great questions to ask. 1. Are they helping you make decisions faster by giving you clear insights, or are they just making more pretty charts? 2. Are they building a system that can grow with your business, not one that's going to break in a year? 3. Are they saving your team time from doing manual data work so they can focus on strategy? And finally, the big one, are you getting a real return on your investment?
All right, let's pull all of this together and try to look beyond just this one top 10 list.
At the end of the day, here's the real takeaway. A ranked list like this can be a helpful guide, for sure. It's a snapshot of the market from one perspective. But the principles behind how you choose are way more important. Understanding what you actually need, whether it's huge enterprise scale, fast and agile development, or super deep technical skill, that's what will lead you to the perfect partner for your business.
You know, a list like this can show you a few different paths you could take, but only you can decide on the final destination. So the question to leave you with is this: what does your company's data future actually look like? And who's the right partner to help you get there?